Hi everyone, my name is Michael. I'll be your host for today's tutorial on how to configure active deterrence on your Tri-Guard cameras. This process is quite straightforward and it should only take us a couple minutes, hopefully. So let's get started. I'm going to show you two methods for enabling active deterrence. The first being through the web interface, and then the second through the NVR directly on its GUI. With our camera set up on the NVR, let's begin with the web interface method. First off, we want to open up the NVR on the web interface. You can do this quite easily by opening Easy Station or Easy Tools and clicking the E icon next to your NVR on the device manager. Alternatively, you can copy and paste the IP address directly into your web browser's search tab. Now let's log in. And once we're in, head over to the Smart tab at the top right. From the Smart tab, we're going to set up either a crossline or an intrusion detection box, whichever is your preference. These will allow our camera to identify persons, vehicles, or non-motor vehicles entering our chosen zones, which will cut down any potential false flag alarms from just regular motion detection. And that can be set off by anything as simple as rain or wind. Crossline is very simple to set up in terms of intrusion parameters. You can choose which way a line is crossed in order to trigger alarm, which can be useful for stores with a one-way system. You could set it so that an alarm could trigger if someone goes the wrong way. But for intrusion detection, we have a few more settings we can adjust. So let's have a look at those. First, let's draw our detection area. We're going to ignore this object size box. For 99% of scenarios, this will work fine with the default settings. Let's take a look at our time threshold and sensitivity. Time threshold is the minimum length of time that an intruder stays in the detection area before alarm will be reported. This can be useful if you have a lot of through traffic but don't want people lingering. For sensitivity of detection, a greater value means a higher detection sensitivity. Percentage relates to the intruder's size to the size of the specified detection area before alarm is reported, which means if a person walks into a box and covers at least 10% of that area, the system considers it a valid intrusion and an alarm can be sounded. We're going to leave priority on high. For object type, this can be useful if you only want the camera to alarm for detection of people or vehicles only. Now let's configure our alarming schedule. This blue box is quite a visually simple way to configure your alarm times. We've got our 24 hours of the day and each day of the week. By default, the whole week is blue, which means it's armed all day, every day. Let's change that so our camera only triggers at night when we won't be around. I'm going to select the disarm box here, and from then I can drag along which times I want the camera to be disarmed. So let's go for a standard work week. Now the camera is disarmed for working hours, so it won't trigger on people during those times. Let's head over to the Trigger Actions tab. Starting from the left side, we have our conventional triggers. This relates to triggers from the NVR side. For example, buzzer will trigger the NVR to beep, similar when it turns on. Push alarm will send push notifications to you. With alarm sound, we can add an IP speaker to alarm simultaneously to the camera's siren. Next, in the alarm output box, we can select from alarm linkages we may have connected to the back of the NVR or any of our connected cameras. In the recording box, we can select our camera channel so we can see on our timeline when a person or vehicle has entered our zones. This also allows us to search VCA events easier. Go to preset. This is for PTZ cameras. This moves the camera back to a preset position when triggered. Send email will send an email to your chosen address if you have that configured. And finally, camera linkage allows you to select your camera's lights and sirens for triggering when a person or vehicle enters your zones. The NVR allows separate configurations for night and day. If you select this gear here, you can select which sound or flashing light is active during the day versus at night, and even adjust by day of the week. In custom mode, you can fully define when each action is active, giving you control over schedules that match your business hours or site activity. All cameras come with 12 pre-recorded voice messages by default, which should cover most situations. In addition, you have the flexibility to upload up to 3 custom audio files, which could be recordings in your own voice. Now let's give our alarm a quick test. And let's move on to method 2, which is going to be directly through the NVR interface. Now let's configure Active Deterrence through our second method directly through the NVR interface. First, let's log into our NVR. Now let's hover over to the bottom tab and select Menu. Select the gear icon next to intrusion detection or crossline. From here, we can configure sensitivity, time threshold, percentage, priority, and object type. Time threshold is the minimum length of time that an intruder stays in the detection area before alarm will be reported. Percentage relates to the intruder's size compared to the size of the specified detection area before a detection will be reported. In the advanced section, we can also adjust object size, though in most cases, leaving this default is recommended. Once intrusion detection is set, we want to determine what happens when the system detects something. The NVR gives us multiple trigger actions to choose from. NVR buzzer, the recorder will beep to notify you of an event. Pop-up window, a window will appear on screen showing the live intrusion event. Push alarm, this will send you a notification to your mobile app or your software. In recording, you need to select which camera channel to enable VCA playback of your detection events. From alarm sound selection, you can connect an IP speaker and play an additional louder alarm during events. Go to preset for PTZ cameras, this moves the camera back to the preset position when triggered. Preview, similar to pop-up, this shows a quick live preview window. Alarm output, this allows external alarms or sirens connected to the NVR to activate. The NVR allows separate configurations for night and day. You could select which sound or flashing light is active during the day versus at night, and even adjust by day of the week. And in custom mode, you can fully define which action is active, giving you control over schedules that match your business hours or site activity. If email settings are configured on the NVR, you can enable alerts to be sent directly to your chosen email address whenever an intrusion alarm is triggered. This provides an additional layer of awareness alongside push notifications. The arming schedule defines when intrusion detection is active. For example, we can set Monday from 9 till 5. Times are in the 24-hour format here. To quickly apply these across all days, you can choose a copy to all function. Alternatively, you can configure each day of the week individually for maximum flexibility. Finally, we must define the physical area the NVR monitors for intrusion. Click Draw and use the mouse to outline the detection box on screen. Double-click to finish, and right-click to exit drawing mode. Once complete, press Apply to save. With Tri-Guard Active Deterrence configured, your system is now fully optimized for proactive surveillance and alarm response. That's all for this video. If you found it helpful, please leave a like and subscribe for more security insights. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.